Okay, let me make sure I'm coming in nice and loud to check my feed. Okay, I'm coming in. This is going to be a fun one. Have no idea how this is going to go. Now, this isn't the official feed, okay? Please. I've had one person contact me. This isn't the official feed. I will put the link in. Let me grab this. Here you go. Okay, so where is the chat? Oh, there we go. Got the chat there. All right, I'm pretty pumped about this. Let's see how this is going to go. I do have a few things just in case the feed fails. I do want to play around with this Drupal canvas. Anyway, cinema mode? Yeah, why not? Is that too big? All right, for some reason, I do have a lot of people watching on YouTube. Hey, hi there. Now, I just want to mention this isn't the official feed. This is just a watch along. You know how those sports, I always watch these like sport watch along thingies. That's all I wanted this to be, is something that we can just chat for all the people that aren't able to go there. It's just us just chatting along. So what do you think we're going to see at these Driesnotes? Well, these Driesnotes have been pretty good, the last few of them, because of, what is it? Starshot, Drupal AI, all that stuff has been pretty cool. And so I am pretty pumped to see, hopefully we may get an RC, well, Canvas. How far along is Canvas coming along? Well, there we go. It's an RC1. Oh, that's 10 day. Oh, 10th. Look at that. That is awesome. Now, what about Drupal AI? Let's take a look at that. Oh, there we go. It's a great video right there if you want to learn about Drupal AI. And that's 1.1. However, 1.2, I believe, has been released. Okay, well, there you go. It's just, all right. Damn, I need to now do another video on Drupal AI stuff. There you go. 1.2 is out. That's interesting. So we do have a few things to think about. So this is yet to start, but please send me your questions. I'm just trying to manage everything. Oh, here we go. I'll turn the audio on.
right, hello everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back from the break. Hope you all had a nice lunch. Hope you're all ready to buckle up for an exciting afternoon of content. My name's Sean Parrott. I'm the VP of Brand at Acquia. For those of you who may not know Acquia, we are an open digital experience company that was born out of Drupal. And Acquia exists to help build safer, more accessible, more open digital experiences for everyone. And we are proud to be the #1 contributor to Drupal. And
that is
as
true.
part of that,
They have a
we
lot of people contributing to
created
them.
an exciting new contribution, which I'm excited to talk about today, which you might have just seen in the video, and that is Acquia Source. That is our new AI-powered SaaS CMS. That is a curated version of Drupal CMS, and Acquia has made a substantial contribution in order to make this happen, and we are really excited about this. This is really good for Drupal, and if you'd like to learn more, please stop by our booth at the Acquia Source Club and enjoy the Beach Club vibes. Now, let's get on with the show, because I think you're all here for a particular reason, and judging by the fact that there's only standing room only in the back, I think we have an exciting keynote coming up next. And
Well, that is pretty good. Standing room only.
The person that's about to come on stage will begin his 43rd DrupalCon. I know. So with that, please join me in giving a warm...
It is pretty interesting with the Acquia Source or whatever it was. Remember Drupal Gardens? Well, let's hope they keep it around, because they got rid of Drupal Gardens, which was kind of a bit ahead of its time. I had a test site on there.
I've actually lost track of how many DrupalCons I've been to, but I've never missed a single one of them, so that's pretty special. And I think I'm the only person now that has been to all the DrupalCons, but maybe there's somebody else. Talking about conferences, a couple of weeks ago, I was actually in Boston at an invite-only technology conference, and they had politicians like the governor of Massachusetts, they had top entrepreneurs, professors from Harvard and MIT, and I've been fortunately to get to know them a little bit over the years, or at least some of them. So it's basically a whole bunch of smart people in a room for a day, and surprisingly, the top question that I would get over and over again was, what's going to happen with Drupal in a world full of AI?
That's true.
And so I was a little bit, surprised by that question, and how often people would ask me that question. So on the spot, I would say things like, well, I'm glad we're not Wix or Squarespace, because, simpler websites are much more prone to disruption by AI than the typical more complex websites that we build with Drupal. And going home, I felt like they're not wrong to ask the question and to wonder, right?
I think we're all asking that question.
I've been thinking about that question for some time, not just since the conference, because we're in this tremendous time of change, where the web that we know, the web that we've known for 30 years,
absolutely,
might be about to change in a big time.
It has.
And so today's presentation is really what I wished I could have told the people at this conference in Boston if I had more time. So let's get it on. Talking about disruption, Vienna, obviously where we are today, actually knows a thing or two about things being flipped on their head. Because Vienna was once the capital of several vast empires. Obviously, you had the Austrian Empire, but before that, you had the Holy Roman Empire, and it lasted for about 1,000 years. And it all came to end sort of on a single day. And on that day, in 1805, at the Battle of Austerlitz, Napoleon essentially smashed the Austrian and the Russian armies. And it was a surprise, because Napoleon was actually outnumbered and outgunned, if you will. Yet he was able to overturn these two big armies. And it was a stunning and unexpected victory, and it sort of sent shockwaves across Europe. And the news of Austerlitz actually reached England as well. And for them, it was a devastating blow, because they were trying to, beat Napoleon. And the English Prime Minister at the time, William Pitt the Younger, he was so devastated that he went home. And when he came home, he saw his niece, and his niece was sitting at the table, and she had taken down a map, a world map from the wall, and put it on the table to study it. And as he walks in and he sees this, he says, "Roll up that map. It will not be wanted for years, or for 10 years." And basically what he was saying is that everything had just changed. You know, that the boundaries have changed, that a new era is upon them, and that the old map was now useless, and that a new map was needed. And so I find that we find ourselves in a very similar situation right now. You think about it, when Drupal first began in 2001, the internet felt like a frontier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would
Absolutely.
go to a search engine like Google, you would type in a few words.
It was free as well. That was the biggest thing. That's what got me to Drupal.
And we built millions of websites around this concept or around this map, right? However, today, that map is being redrawn. We're entering an era where the landscape is being completely reimagined. And it's time to roll up our old maps as well. And so in many ways, AI is our Austerlitz. It's changing everything. And some days, I feel terrified about AI. An hour later, maybe I'm like super excited about AI. And usually by the evening, I'm just tired of hearing about it. Right?
I'm the same as well.
But what about all of you in the room? How do you feel about AI?
Love it and hate it at the same time.
If you feel optimistic,
Oh.
point your arm to the east.
Wait, where's my east?
If you feel pessimistic, point your arm to
No, that way.
the west. Yeah, and if you're like me, wave your arm from left to right.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same.
But regardless of what we think or what I think, big tech is making a huge bet on AI. They're betting their future on AI, and they're building out massive AI infrastructure. A couple of weeks ago, OpenAI announced that they are building a factory to produce 1 gigawatt of AI infrastructure every week. And if you don't know what 1 gigawatt is, it's basically the output of one large nuclear reactor every week.
That's a lot.
Or 20 to 30 large data centers that they want to bring online every week. As I said, it's kind of insane, you know? And of course, it's also a worrisome thing for the environment. But it also means that the AI that we use today is going to be the worst AI that you'll ever use for the rest of your life, right? The big labs, the big AI labs, they're so convinced that their investment will pay off. And so far, they've been right. Like, the more compute data, the more time you throw at this, just the better the LLMs become. Of course, other people are saying the bubble will burst, and nobody really knows. Personally, I do think that the commercial or financial bubble will burst, but that AI as a technology will definitely remain, much like the original internet bubble, maybe. And so in many, many ways, I think AI is here to stay. And so what nobody can deny is that AI is disrupting everything, including our little world.
Absolutely.
For example, in May of this year, 69% of all of the searches resulted in 0 clicks. Why? Because people get their answers directly from Google AI overviews. And that means
traffic to webwatch.net has tanked pretty much.
AI agents, they don't click ads. AI agents, they don't subscribe to newsletters. AI agents, they don't fill out lead forms. And so the old marketing funnel is starting to collapse. And it's starting to hit some organizations pretty hard. And so that, of course, raises very big and important questions like, why build websites at all? Now, I think I have a very good answer for that. And I'll come to that by the end of my presentation. But until then, we have to face the reality, which is that CMS platforms like Drupal, we have to evolve, and digital agencies are feeling it too, and they too have to evolve. Because one thing is clear, the storm is here, and we need to roll up those old maps of how the web worked, and we need to figure out how to best navigate this coming storm. Now, storms have been around for millions of years. And nature has figured out ways around these storms. For example, bison, they instinctively run towards a coming storm. Very interesting. Why do they do that? Well, because moving towards the storm means that they pass through it faster. If they were to run away from the storm,
Makes sense.
they would stay in bad weather longer. And so I think we can learn something from the bison. You know, I think instead of turning away, we need to accelerate into the storm. We need to embrace AI. We need to experiment as much as we can and as fast as we can. And in many, many ways, that's the interesting irony, because AI is a storm, but it's also the way through the storm.
Well, that's it.
Because there's really no
There's no denying it.
There's no going back to a
Exactly.
pre-AI world. And despite all the uncertainty, despite all
Yep.
of the disruption,
It's here.
Drupal is actually really well positioned. Because unlike our competitors, we have some really distinct advantages. And just like the bison, we're going to lean into that storm. And let me show you what that means in practice. Now, making maps has always been kind of guesswork. I mean, we forget that today because today's maps, they are perfect because of satellites and everything. But hundreds of years ago, people actually had to go out and explore and do their best to draw a map. And then other people would follow and try to make that map better. Actually, if you look carefully, what you see here is a map of very early Europe. Some of you may have already noticed that it's actually upside down. You can spot Italy's at the top. And if you look closely,
There's Croatia, Dalmatia.
On the map as well. Now, you wouldn't want to rely on that map today. It would be hard to make your way home, probably. But as I mentioned, the point is that maps evolve, and they improve as navigators help make them better. Now, Drupal has successfully navigated uncharted territory before. Actually, every few years, I feel like we as a community, we set out again, exploring new directions, adapting, reinventing ourselves, and creating new maps to follow.
Well, that's true.
And that's what has kept Drupal alive for almost 25 years. And not just alive, but on the cutting edge of technology as well. So for example, 10 years ago, I tried to map the future, and I wrote a blog post, The Big Reverse of the Web.
What was
And
that,
in that
2015?
post, I noticed that the web was shifting from pull to push. And I wrote even, we are at the beginning of a massive re-architecture of the web, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, content will find us. That's about 10 years ago. And if you think about it, that's exactly what these AI agents do right now. People are getting their answers faster. They don't have to go off and do a bunch of research or click all of these links. It's pretty much just like I wrote about. But what we didn't know back then, and what nobody could have known, I think, is that LLMs would speed up this trend tremendously, and maybe even disrupt the web that we've known for 30 years. And so I've always tried my best to get ready for the future and get Drupal ready for the future. But sometimes, if I'm honest, it's also painful. Like maybe raise your hand if you remember the Drupal 8 upgrade and if you thought it was painful.
Oh, yeah.
Right, it's almost everyone. Now, at the time, I think what's important.
What about the 8 to 9?
We also wanted to future-proof Drupal, right? We wanted to future-proof Drupal by adopting modern software design patterns, by improving our APIs. So we did things like improving our content versioning, or we added configuration management, and then later we even added configuration versioning. And at the time, it definitely felt like we were trying to make Drupal stronger, better, more modern, and ready for the future.
I'll give it. Config management is pretty cool.
It also made us harder to use.
That as well, yes.
From the room.
Composer for everything.
Surprising part.
I still struggle with Composer these days.
We gained an accidental AI advantage. And when is the last time something amazing happened to you by accident? All the hard work that we did back then, the APIs, the versioning, the configuration management, those things actually turn out to be the things that AI needs today.
Not true.
When AI agents
because AI can read the config YAML files.
To roll things back.
Yes.
To be able to roll things back very safely.
Except
And
content,
Drupal
of
is
course.
really, really good at that now, thanks to the work that we did in the Drupal 8 days. And we also have other great
It's not like other
features
CMSs like WordPress where it
our
just chucks everything in
content,
the database.
structuring, our fine-grained permissions. These are all things that are very important
Oh yeah.
in this new agentic world. So
What does the
kind
word
of find
agentic
ourselves
actually
better
mean?
prepared than we
I
ever
hear that everywhere, but
imagined,
I've got no idea.
all these years ago. And in fact, I would argue that Drupal has quietly become one of the most AI-ready frameworks in the world. Now, I also don't think it was pure luck. You know, while we could not have predicted it, this is what happens when a community keeps looking forward and isn't afraid to make changes.
Breaking changes,
Even when
yes.
they hurt. And so,
That's
yeah,
true.
we've laid the groundwork. We've always tried to make the best maps and the best tools and to be ready for the future. And actually, for the past 18 months, we've been going through another transformation.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've been trying to get ready for the future again with Starshot or Drupal CMS. And we've rallied around one clear goal, which is to grow Drupal by empowering site builders, marketers, and creators. And we're doing that for site builders, marketers, and creators in the mid-market and the enterprise. And the launch of Drupal CMS really has sparked something in the community. Just look at this graph. This chart shows a number of organizational credits to our strategic initiatives. And you can clearly see a big jump because of the start of Starshot. And here's the best part. It's not a one-time spike. Our innovation is growing, and our innovation is sustained. It actually, if you look carefully, it doubled compared to 2023. Oh, yeah. So what started as a spark has now turned into this sustained innovation, which is pretty awesome. So let's take a look at what we, this community, have built lately, because I believe these
All right, here we go.
three tools that you see here will essentially redraw our map, and they will keep Drupal strong for many, many years to come. So we'll start with site templates and marketplace. So everything that we're doing in Drupal CMS is about growing adoption of Drupal.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we knew we needed to do in order to grow Drupal adoption was to make it easy and fast to build sites. Like getting a site up and running shouldn't be hard, right? And so we started off with recipes. Recipes help people go from idea to website in hours instead of days. And they essentially let you, in the installer, pick the features that you want, like multilingual or accessibility tools, and then launch. And we didn't stop there. And we asked ourselves, what else can we do? And so that's where site templates come in. Site templates is an idea that we launched 7 months ago at DrupalCon Atlanta. And as a reminder, it combines recipes, a theme, sample content, everything that you need to launch a website even faster. It's essentially a Drupal site out of the box. And I'm very excited to say that that idea has become a reality. In the last few months, we've built our very first site templates. So let's take a look at this video.
When you install Drupal CMS 2.0, a key change you'll notice right away is that instead of features or recipes,
hello.
your first choice is now a site template. The first site template is called Byte, and it's perfect for the business-to-business website for expense management software we're going to work on today. This site template uses the newly built Mercury theme and design system to compose pages detailing software features, price offerings, resources and support, a list of recent blog articles, and a form to contact the company.
Pretty good, yeah.
Okay.
So we got the first site templates, and literally in 3 clicks in 1 minute, you can launch a complete website. In this case, it was a website to promote a SaaS software company. Obviously, in the future, we'll have many others, but building this first site template, we had a lot of things to figure out, as you can imagine. not only did we have to build a theme, we had to build a design system with reusable components, all of these things. So now that we've built one, we can obviously build many more based on those foundations. So I just want to say a quick thank you to Elliot from Media Current for working on this, as well as for Pam, Christina, Adam from the Drupal CMS leadership team, and many others. So thank you to them.
Did that video say that this is in CMS, Drupal CMS
Obviously,
1.2?
as I said, the next step is to create more than one template and to create many of these different templates for many different use cases. And so at DrupalCon Atlanta, you might remember, I ended my keynote with this big question. Should we build a site template marketplace? And since then, under the leadership of Tiffany Ferris and Tim Lennon, we have done a lot of work on that. So let's take a look at what we decided.
The potential of site templates is clear. By combining recipes, demo content, and a Canvas-compatible theme, they make Drupal's power, flexibility, and openness more accessible. That innovation becomes transformative once these templates are easy to find and use via a marketplace on Drupal.org. I'm Tiffany Ferris, a Drupal Association board member and CEO of Palantir.net. Beginning at DrupalCon Atlanta, I convened a marketplace working group to explore whether such a marketplace might work both for and with our Drupal community. Together with volunteers, we led one of Drupal's biggest user engagement efforts ever. Webinars, surveys, Slack prompts, roundtables. In just 4 months, over 500 people shared honest, passionate, and direct feedback. Their message was clear. Yes, we want this marketplace, but only if it delivers high quality, trustworthy site templates with transparent governance and open source values at its core. So we're starting small and in an agile way. Step 1 is to launch a marketplace with a curated set of Drupal CMS site templates, both free and paid, from a handful of Drupal certified partners. Each will meet baseline standards for accessibility, security, documentation, and demo content. This is a significant investment. Even in a time of limited resources, the Drupal Association board voted unanimously to greenlight and fund this from our board vision fund because we see its potential to grow adoption and to create a next generation marketplace that is high quality, fair, and rooted in open source values. That's what our Drupal.org marketplace will offer. Still Drupal, still GPL licensed, but curated, configured, and designed in a way that accelerates success, faster to deploy, less expensive to maintain, and easier to use. Now that's a future we can build together. And with that, let me hand it over to Tim Lennon, the CTO of the Drupal Association, to share our roadmap to launch.
Thanks, Tiffany, and thank you to the rest of the working group. The groundwork for the site template marketplace you laid out has been a masterclass in open source community engagement. With the approval of the board, the torch has now been passed to the Drupal Association team. We're working very closely with the Drupal CMS leadership team and the Drupal Canvas team to lock down the specification for how site templates should be built. We've been recruiting Drupal certified partners for our pilot. We have several partners who've already committed to join the cause, and we're looking for up to 10 more during this pilot period. If you're interested in joining, please reach out to the DA. While the partners are working on these initial templates, the Drupal Association engineering team will be building out the marketplace itself, including the submission process for templates, the listing of templates with quality signals, and the automated and manual review processes we'll be using for quality control. We're going to learn quite a lot in the course of this pilot program and hope to make some good progress by DrupalCon Chicago. Not only did we decide to move forward with the marketplace, but we're off to a great start. Stay tuned for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Drupal needs this, but the
Just say I've been
bit of backlash in the past whenever we've talked about kind of app stores or any type of
unbelievable.
premium stuff, but I'll be curious to see. I think this is required.
And now, of course, I'm very excited that we're going to have more than 10 extra site templates, hopefully soon, and that we're actually building the Drupal Marketplace MVP. And that actually means we're ahead of what we said we would do. Like we were just going to decide by now, but we're actually already on track. So, of course, having more site templates is a good thing, but really the vision should be to get to thousands of site templates and beautiful site templates. And in order to do so, we need to open up the site template creation to designers with no-code tools. Today, it still requires some development to build these site templates, but we really need to get to these no-code tools, not to replace developers, but to expand our community with designers. Because picture this, a designer can come to Drupal, they can install Drupal and start with a blank site. They can enable features, they can style it, shape it, add some demo content, and then with a single click of a button, they can export a site template for
Oh, that'd be good. That'd be good.
So if we can attract design talent like that, and we can enable them to create these site templates that easy, I think a whole new world will open up for Drupal. Now, thanks to Adam Honig, we actually have a proof of concept of that already. It's only a couple days old, but you can go check it out based on the QR code. And I'm very hopeful that we can make this widely
There's a QR code?
So,
Right.
that was a quick update on site templates in the marketplace. Talking about site templates, one of the things that they install are themes, Drupal Canvas themes, and pages built with Drupal Canvas. And I'm saying Drupal Canvas here because and not Experience Builder, which was the name that you may be familiar with, because a few months ago we learned that there was a trademark issue with the original name. And after reviewing it carefully, we had to essentially rename the project, and we ended up with Drupal Canvas. So, but that aside, we've been working really, really, really hard on Drupal Canvas, and we hope to release it very soon. And I'll talk more about that later in this presentation. But we've essentially added a lot of new features, a lot of new things since the last Driesnote, and I want to show you these things first, all right? So. Let's start with the first new thing, which is that we've started integrating contributed modules into Drupal Canvas. So let's take a look.
Drupal Canvas enables site builders without Drupal experience to easily theme and build their entire website using only their browser. You begin with structured components such as a hero banner, an image gallery, a testimonial block, or a product card. These predefined and reusable blocks make it easy to create consistent pages. Once you've placed these components, you can now also format text in them by adding links, changing alignment, and more. This experience is powered by the newly integrated CK Editor, which makes editing easy and more intuitive. When people share a page on social media or find it in search results, the preview only looks good if the right description and image are set. To make this easy, we integrated the popular meta tag module into Drupal Canvas. Marketers can now easily add a description and meta image directly within Drupal Canvas. Contact forms, surveys, and demo request forms are also important tools for a website. We've made the web form module Canvas compatible to support this.
Nice.
This allows forms such as this contact form to be used as dynamic components within Canvas, making them easy to add and manage directly in your page's layout. Changes are automatically saved into a workspace, so you review all of your site changes together and publish all of them or only the ones that are ready with a single click. Let's publish our changes on this page while we continue to refine some other pages we're working on. By integrating CK Editor, meta tag, and web form, we've made important marketing tools part of the creative workflow. We think marketers will love it.
There we go. So it's early days, but it's, yeah. It's early days, but observing how this has worked, it's really encouraging to see how well that is going, the effort of making your modules compatible. And obviously, integrating more modules is actually a key next step for Drupal Canvas, because each integration with a contributed module makes Drupal Canvas more capable and more connected to the Drupal ecosystem. So if you're a maintainer of a contributed module and you want to try integrating it with Drupal Canvas, now is a good time. You can still give feedback to the engineering teams as well. And I would encourage you, as you migrate your module or port your module, to also use it as an opportunity to rethink how you can align with Drupal CMS and the vision that we have with Drupal CMS. There is an opportunity to not just port it, but to actually try and lower the barrier to adoption for Drupal at the same time. All right, so let's keep going. So Drupal Canvas isn't just expanding by, through these integrated modules. We've also been broadening its reach with a new concept, and a new feature called content templates. And for Drupal experts, it's a little bit like Fields UI or Display Suite. So let's take a look at that as well.
In addition to creating one-off landing pages, Drupal Canvas gives you control of the way your content types will be laid out for different edit modes. Instead of editing code in a template file, marketers have the power to tweak these layouts directly in the browser. The initial Byte site template uses content templates for blog posts. Let's move where the author name is displayed from the top of our template to a new element below the text. When editing a blog layout, you combine values typed directly into Canvas with dynamic field values, such as the title, author name, or author photo. You display them with the usual Canvas components to create a reusable design. Byte uses a hero blog component to format the information at the top of a blog post, but you can also add anything you need from the component library. Drupal Canvas allows you to see a live preview of content templates using actual content from your site. You can pick which piece of content to preview with to see how nodes with different information will look in your layout. Changing the template is as simple as dragging around components and updating their properties. With Drupal Canvas, managing the look and feel of your Drupal site can be managed directly in the browser like never before.
Yeah, another great feature, I think. Yeah. And by the way, whenever I look at these demo videos, I often completely forget that we're looking at Drupal. It looks so different and so much better. All right, let's keep going. I think I'm pretty excited about this. For a long time, we've had many different ways to format and present content, and I'm hopeful that with content templates, we have a new way forward and a way that's more simple, more visual, more unified, and that we can all kind of rally behind a single concept. Okay, so I have a lot more to show. The next little video that I have for you is a new way for adding blocks to Drupal Canvas. So let's jump to that as well.
Let's add a listing of recent blog posts to the homepage to promote our thought leadership. Byte includes a couple of dynamic components that show recent blog posts as cards, but we want to show a list, and there isn't an existing component for that. So let's build one in the browser using code components. A pre-configured JSON API client and SWR are built into Canvas, which allow us to display cached dynamic data while it is being updated directly on the page in the background. We want to list the latest blog posts with this component. Canvas even provides debugging information about the response from JSON API. Once we are happy with this component, we can publish it and place it in our page where it was intended. Our front-end developer was able to add this dynamic information to our homepage without learning any Drupalisms.
So it's a new way to create components. We call them code components. I think they'll be really powerful. And I think one of the really cool things about it is that it will invite JavaScript front-end developers to Drupal, and also that they can actually bring those skills to Drupal without having to do a fully decoupled or headless Drupal website. So that's pretty cool. Now, I have another way that you can build components that I want to show you today. And I think a lot of you front-end developers will like it because many of you use Figma for your designs, right? But going from a Figma design to a Drupal theme, if you will, can be pretty hard. You typically have to kind of build the whole theme and design from scratch as a Drupal developer. But what if we could basically go from Figma to Drupal in a much faster way? Plus, what if we could link the two so that when you change something in Drupal, your theme and your Drupal code also automatically gets updated? That definitely would save a lot of time and would also improve the consistency between the Figma designs and the Drupal site. So let's take a look at that.
Hi everyone, I'm starting here with a standard Drupal Canvas setup. And this is a pricing table I designed in Figma. Normally turning a design like this into a working Drupal Canvas component would take hours of front-end work. But with the new Figma MCP server and a little help from Copilot, my GitHub AI assistant, we can now generate this component automatically, without writing a single line of code. Here's how it works. I'll create a new component in Canvas and call it pricing table. Behind the scenes, Canvas generates a YAML file that defines how this component works. Now Copilot steps in. It connects to the Figma MCP, reads the design, and begins translating that visual structure into Drupal's component language. You can see it update the YAML file, add responsive layout settings, and map the fields automatically. This part used to take hours of manual coding and trial and error. Now it's handled in seconds. Once Copilot finishes, it re-imports the YAML file back into Drupal Canvas and rebuilds the cache. And that's it. The new pricing table is ready to use, responsive, editable, and directly based on the original Figma design. So what does that mean in practice? It means faster iteration, easier to go from a design vision to reality. Designers can use Figma and don't have to learn much or any Drupal. Hopefully that will help us attract more designers to Drupal and make Drupal Canvas their tool of choice.
So pretty much Canvas is a
It's still
JavaScript
an early
editor at this
prototype,
point.
so it's not pixel perfect yet. But it already shows the art of the possible.
You're pretty much writing React.
Code workflow for Drupal.
And there you go. What do you think? Huh?
I hope the audio's okay. Yeah, I can't really adjust that much of it.
I think this can be very big. This was actually built by Witze. Is Witze here? Oh, there he is in the back. It just, yeah. What I like about it is like Witze is a student from Belgium. And yeah, hold on. And he goes to class during the day and works on Drupal at night. And I know somebody else that started that way. And so for weeks, Witze has been messaging me, and honestly, at all times of the day, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., he really, really wanted to get this done and in the keynote. And so clearly, Witze, you're very passionate about having front-end developers love Drupal as much as you do. So thank you very much for the hard work. All right. That was a very nice AI demo, but it wasn't Drupal AI. It was Figma AI, if you will.
Now we're going to do another
Let's take a look
AI.
at Drupal's own AI improvements, right? So, but first, let me say a few things about the AI initiative that we started. We launched that about 5 months ago. And the reason we launched it, or one of the reasons we launched it, is that marketing teams around the world, they're investing heavily in AI tools today. And I think websites and AI are interesting because websites are where people and technology meet. And websites have a lot of content, they have some data, and you can do very interesting things with AI on websites. Not to mention that it's relatively easy to add AI capabilities to websites, especially if you've already have a Drupal website. So I think there's a huge opportunity for Drupal here, and also a huge opportunity for agencies because a lot of these end users, they actually need help adopting AI and Drupal AI to do some pretty cool things. And so we created the AI initiative, and today, 5 months after creating the initiative, we basically raised $1 million,
Whoa.
which is like just an amazing feature. And we, yeah. And it's about $200,000+ in cash and about 800,000 in FTE hours, like, resources that each of these 22 incredible partners contribute. So every partner was asked to contribute either a full-time FTE or a half-time FTE, depending on their size. So the combined value is about $1 million. And so by far, this is the biggest and most successful fundraising effort that we've ever done in the history of Drupal.
Whoa.
And I think these companies are investing because they know they want to evolve their agencies. They want to go after that AI opportunity that I just talked about. And being part of this initiative allows them to upskill their talent and to transform their businesses from the inside out. It allows them to become really good at this. And together, these 22 partners, together we're basically investing in new AI capabilities and bringing more AI innovation into Drupal. And to me, it perfectly captures what I mean when I said we have to accelerate into the storm, you know? And so if you're interested in joining, it's not too late. We have a forum. Dominic is here as well. Dominic has done a lot of the fundraising. So if you want to join, please come talk to Dominic. Here he is. That is Where is Waldo? I'm not sure if that translates in Europe. It's a big American thing. All right, Dominic is more than happy to sell you a sponsorship, right? All right, so 7 months ago at DrupalCon Atlanta, I also showed another way to create components. You might remember, but I demonstrated an early prototype of Drupal AI generating a single component inside of Drupal Canvas. So do you remember that demo? Yeah, many of you do. And then obviously today I showed 2 more ways of creating a component. One is creating it manual with JavaScript inside of Drupal Canvas, and then obviously we just showed Witz's Figma approach for creating component as well. So that's at least 3 ways to create components, and obviously there's other ways as well. But what if instead of a single component, Drupal AI could build an entire page made up of dozens of components? So let's take a look at that as well.
Our B2B marketing team is launching ads for a fictitious SaaS product we'll call FinDrop. They want to create 3 different ads. One offers a free guide, another promotes a webinar, and the third invites people to book a demo. Here's the challenge. Each ad needs to link to its own landing page. When someone clicks on an ad to register for an event, they expect to land on a page about the event, not the home page. The page must match what the ad promised, or people will leave immediately. For developers, this means creating 3 similar but slightly different pages. Marketing needs them fast to start their campaign, but each requires custom design, copy, and forms. Tomorrow, they'll want to test different headlines. Next week, they'll need versions for a new campaign. This constant need for landing page variations is exactly what our AI agents can solve. Instead of weeks of development, marketers get their pages in minutes. AI should be great at this, so let's try with a prompt that marketing helped create to make one of the pages. The prompt is simple and direct. We ask the AI to create a landing page based on our ad campaign, including the ad copy to ensure it captures essential details like the event name, date, and key attendance benefits. Once we enter the prompt into Drupal Canvas AI, behind the scenes it's handed to an orchestration agent that plans the work to be completed and decides what agents it will need. To create our landing page, most of the work will be done by a Canvas template agent. It uses the prompt to decide which components to use, generates content, and searches for relevant images. This agent also has its own access to another agent for document media search, which can go and verify information you might need from documents like PDFs, in addition to the provided context. With all the agents working together, our page is assembled. As the response comes back, notice that the Canvas AI is building out the layout one component at a time and populating it with information relevant to our prompt. The result is a fully structured page that is ready to review, edit, and publish. As shown in the sidebar, the page is composed of Drupal Canvas components that the AI agents recognized and used. The marketer can use Drupal Canvas to edit or fine-tune each part of the page before publishing. Not just the text, but also the layout and components. It's a great example of how site builders and AI agents can work together and how Drupal keeps a human in the loop. With some simple instructions, Drupal Canvas can use its own understanding of the site structure, media, and component library to assemble an entire page populated with draft content. That saves a marketer dozens of clicks and significantly reduces the need to learn Drupal's technical concepts. It's a major accelerator that makes the power of Drupal easier to adopt than ever before.
All right. I honestly think this demo is a pretty big deal, that we can now generate a whole page. And I also think this is the kind of innovation that will keep Drupal future-proof. And what's so great about it, I think, is that it makes Drupal easier for so many people while keeping Drupal powerful, because it's still Drupal, right? As you saw, AI uses all of the components available in Drupal Canvas without losing what makes Drupal special. So now, if we're honest and we look at this page more closely, it's also not perfect. You know, there's a lot of things that could be better. And so in many ways, this is a good starting point and an important accelerator. But it would still take a marketer or a site builder a bunch of manual work, I guess, to get it across the finish line. For example, it may not have picked up our brand voice or some of our key messaging, may not really know what we're selling or what images to use. And so someone would have to fix that, as I said. So we basically decided to fix that by building a context control center. And it's essentially a place where you can tell AI who we are, who you're targeting, you know, key facts, what messages you want to emphasize. And so if you've ever used things like Cloud Code, it's like your Cloud MD file or Agents MD file, except obviously we do it right in the Drupal UI so that marketers and site builders can change it there. So let's see if it makes a difference.
Let's start by taking a look at the new AI Context Control Center. You can see there are already some context set up. Let's add one more, explaining who our target audience is.
Wow, this is pretty interesting.
All the AI agents in Drupal have access to this context. So with that in place, let's generate our page again and see if we get a better result. We paste in the actual LinkedIn ad copy, then add a few bullets about what we want, the webinar date, key sections like feature cards, and a note to include a section about who should attend. That's it. Notice we're not specifying our target persona and brand voice. These are already provided from the Context Control Center automatically. So the AI already has access to the information it needs to create audience-focused content for our campaign landing page. The AI is now combining our prompt with the brand guidelines, selecting components, choosing images from our library, and generating appropriate copy based on our product information. Look at this. It's assembled the hero section with our messaging, creating feature cards that match our product capabilities, building a who should attend section, and maintaining perfect brand consistency throughout. Every decision follows our design system and brand rules. The page looks great. Perfect. Simple. Now here's the real power. We can use the same approach for our other two ads too. With the context already set, each additional page takes just minutes. 3 campaigns, 3 landing pages, 10 minutes. Your ads go live today, not next week.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And I honestly haven't seen any other CMS do this kind of thing. So pretty innovative. And this is how I think we're going to extend our lead in AI. Now, all right, so far, all of the AI demos have shown, essentially show AI agents starting to do work when you ask them.
So now we need to be
Like with a
JavaScript
prompt,
developers.
Kind of like a smart helper, right? But the future, we're going to move from these helpers to like teammates, if you will. What I mean by that is sort of autonomous Drupal agents, you know, background agents, if you will, agents that don't wait for that prompt, that just go and do things, maybe working quietly in the background, maybe doing things while we're all asleep. And as I said this, I already see some like people's faces like being really worried. But don't worry, we're not going to let the robots take over. And
Not yet.
Of course, as I'll show you, features like this, they come with audit trails and review systems and all of these things so that we always keep a human in the loop. So let's take a look.
Since FinDrop launched, the marketing team has been proudly toting some impressive numbers. Thanks to some recent updates, those numbers are even better. That kind of good news usually means a lot of extra work for the marketing team, but Drupal knows where it's used those numbers to generate content. We start the process by going back to the Context Control Center. Let's update the information there and see what happens next. With the updates done, Drupal kicks off a task in the background to help us make sure the relevant content is updated wherever the source context was used. Once that's done, we'll find an email in our inbox saying draft page updates are awaiting. So let's check, what did the AI do for us? We land on a listing page where all key updates are listed, so we can check which pages need changing and review the prepared draft updates. Note that even on the page where the wording is a little different, our AI found the changes needed and made the updates. This is one way Drupal AI can work in the background while we sleep and help improve our web presence for better marketing results.
All right. Yeah. That was a lot. I think it's actually the most little demo videos I've shown in any Driesnote, and I think each of them was, I think, pretty substantial in terms of innovations. And this is why that chart that I showed you earlier is going up and to the right. There's just so much cool innovation happening. And I also believe that the combined impact of these innovations, the thing that you see on the screen, could really change the trajectory of Drupal. They all kind of compound, and together they'll make Drupal better. And I think these tools will help us navigate the storm, if you will, from end users to digital agencies to end users in the mid-market and enterprise. I have no doubt that this will help grow Drupal's adoption, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I really think that we have a shot at being the gold standard in sort of the AI era, as we set out in our mission statement. Now, let's talk a little bit about when all of this will be available, right? And so, first of all, I'm thrilled to share that we have a first release candidate of Drupal Canvas. It's available right now, and that the full, yeah. And that the full release is coming in just 1 month. In November, we'll have Drupal Canvas 1.0 released. And this is a big deal because this is the moment that so many of you have been waiting for. I remember talking in a Zoom with all of the certified partners of the Drupal Association, and we would survey them, poll them, and the thing, I asked, what is the thing that you need the most important thing? And it was Drupal Canvas. And they need it for them, but also for their customers. So it's almost here. It's so close, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, once we have Drupal Canvas released, we need about a month to get the Drupal CMS 2.0 finalized. It takes a little bit of work to incorporate Drupal Canvas 2.0. And obviously, we don't want to do that in the holidays. We don't want to do a release in the holidays. So we're thinking that Drupal CMS 2.0 will be released in early January, maybe on Drupal's 25th milestone birthday. We'll see. And I think that's a big deal, too, because it means that Canvas will ship with the default version of Drupal. And so let that sink in for a second. It means that every new Drupal site that people start building will start by default with Canvas as the default experience. And at least for me, that feels kind of like the start of a new era for Drupal, you know? So pretty exciting. We're going to market the heck out of this. We're going to shout it from the rooftops. But yeah. That was the marketing team. But not just in January yet. We're going to celebrate it sort of internally with a community celebration in January. And then we're going to do a much bigger public marketing push in March. And that just gives us more time to get organized, aligned, and ready to make some real noise. So that is pretty exciting. And then after the CMS 2.0 release, we're going to focus and double down on site templates, marketplace, and some of these other things that I've shown and that are in progress. And that will essentially become a major focus for the Drupal CMS leadership team, as well as the Drupal Association throughout 2026. All right, so stay tuned for more. So just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you to everybody here, everybody watching online, everybody contributing for being such an incredible part of this journey. I'm like really, really proud of what we're building together, you know? So give it up to everybody that contributed to this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your passion, your ideas, your courage, for making all these big, bold changes. Now, before I wrap up, I have one more product update that I want to talk about. It's a section in the keynote as well. And I think there's an important trend right now that I think could fundamentally change how we all thrive in this world. And I think the trend is going to be particularly relevant for also agencies and larger end users. So let me talk about that for a bit. So a while back, I wrote a blog post. I think I just heard somebody shout bingo.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to play the bingo game.
A blog post called The Great Digital Agency Unbundling. And it was me thinking out loud about how the agencies in our community need to evolve in a world where AI is reshaping web development. And I wrote that post because I really care about the agencies. And I care about the agencies because they're the source of so much innovation in Drupal. If you were to look at the data, it's like 70+% of all of the innovation in Drupal comes from employees at these agencies, as well as other Drupal companies like hosting companies. And so the challenge for these agencies is that a lot of what they used to do can now be automated or accelerated with AI. And things like building forms, building simple landing pages like I just showed, and even writing basic code. And so agencies need to refocus. They need to refocus on things that can be as automated, and they need to focus on things that are unique to their customers. So I've kept thinking about this since writing that blog post, and today I wanted to come back to that and share a couple new ideas. And they're not the answer, let me be very clear. They're not the answer, they're just sort of possibilities. So lately, I noticed two things that kind of sparked my interest and that I think are worth paying attention to. And they're actually very related, part of a bigger trend that's happening in the world. And I'll come to that in a second. But the first one is actually inside of Drupal itself. And many of you are already familiar with ECA. In fact, ECA ships with Drupal CMS. And for those who aren't familiar, it's a way of orchestrating workflows in Drupal. And it allows people to use a graphical UI to drag and drop things together. And I'll give some examples in a minute. But the point I want to make first is that it has created some real buzz in the community. And personally, I'm very excited about its potential because it's like super aligned with our vision for Drupal CMS, which is to enable people to build more powerful digital experiences in a no-code way. And so, the problem, though, I think, is that ECA is pretty hard to use. And I've tried it myself, and I've been doing Drupal for a little while, and it was hard for me to use ECA. And so that's something that I've been talking about a lot with ECA's creator, Jürgen Haas. We've been talking almost every week for months. And as a result, I think he's been thinking deeply about how we can make ECA easier to use. And by doing so, how it could maybe unlock tremendous potential for the Drupal community. So unfortunately, Jürgen can't be here today, but I asked him to share a few thoughts. So let's hear it from Jürgen.
Hey, my name is Jürgen, and I started ECA 4 years ago. ECA is the no-code solution that empowers you to orchestrate your Drupal site. Its real power is to expose all APIs from Drupal and to build workflows in a graphical interface. ECA only requires Drupal core as a dependency, but almost 100 contrib modules extend ECA's functionality. Over 13,000 sites are using ECA, and they are supported by comprehensive documentation with tutorials, videos, and sample workflows. Let me give you some examples. ECA allows you to define individual redirect rules, to send notifications on workflow state changes, to validate content before saving, to assign tags based on rules, to define custom cron jobs, to query the database and send reminder emails, and so much more. Defining workflows in a graphical UI is doing many things at once: building functionality, documenting itself, explaining it to customers, and reducing the number of required modules. While this is an amazing success, let's face it, ECA comes with a learning curve. New users are sometimes struggling, but we are going to change that. Our vision is to turn ECA into the go-to solution for all Drupal users by improving the UI from the ground up, adding new intuitive widgets, skill level adjustments, testing, logging, debugging, and replay tools. Altogether, the next generation of ECA. This will be another game changer for Drupal to empower users, agencies, freelancers, and organizations of all sizes to achieve more than ever before, while remaining fully open source and free to use. This is an exciting project, Come and join us on that journey. Ping me directly or find us on Drupal Slack. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about it. I really do think like ECA has a potential to be like Views, and if you're a longer-term Drupal user, you know exactly what I mean. But it has to be easier to use, I think. And so I'm very, very excited that Jürgen is going to focus on that, and that hopefully that can give another big boost to Drupal. Now, it's not the only orchestration tool that I'm excited about. And I recently came across another interesting project, also focused on orchestration, but from a slightly different angle. So imagine something like Zapier or N8N, except this time open source, actually open source, and with a much slicker interface.
Fighting words.
And that project is called Active Pieces. And essentially, it's like N8N and these other tools, and allows you to connect with all of these different pieces of software. They have like 450 integrations. And in full disclosure, I was actually so impressed that I ended up becoming a small angel investor in Active Pieces. But just like ECA, you know, it's like ECA, except it's focused on external actions. Like ECA is more internal, inside of Drupal. Active Pieces is more outside of Drupal. And I really do think that, like ECA, it has the potential to transform how we work. So I recorded a quick demo myself, so let's take a quick look at that. All right, let's start with the simplest possible flow in Active Pieces. This one essentially takes content from the
Active
WordPress
Pieces, never heard of this.
in RSS and stores it in Drupal. Now, I don't actually have a WordPress site myself, but I know a guy that does. Essentially bought Matt Mullenweg's RSS feed, and I can test that this feed works by clicking this retest button, and you can see here that Active Pieces returns a nice clean JSON object. And then we can take that JSON object and we can use it to create content in Drupal. Let me show you that. First, we have to connect to the Drupal site. This, by the way, uses basic auth, which is a standard feature that ships with Drupal core. And then it uses JSON API to automatically discover the schema and all of the available field definitions that are defined in your Drupal site. And you can see that here. And also, for example, we know through JSON API that the blog entity type has a title and a body. And you can see how we can map the output of the RSS feed to the body. It's very simple. We select a body format. In this case, let's go with full HTML, and we set it to published. And that's it, done. We're now migrating content from WordPress to Drupal. All right, so that was my first demo. Of course, it's
There's a bit more to migration than that.
Some of you are thinking, well, you could do that with the feeds module.
Agreed, yes.
So let's do one more demo.
There's a bit more to migration when you're migrating 10,000 pages over to Drupal. But yeah, no, I do see.
Let's do something that is harder to do in Drupal alone. And that shows why combining Drupal with these external orchestration platforms can actually be so powerful. So first, instead of just migrating the content as is, let's transform it. So we're going to ask ChatGPT to Drupalify Matt's WordPress content. And that means turning words like plugins into modules, widgets into blocks, and making a few other tweaks. Now, in a more realistic scenario, you would use this approach to simplify complex language, to fix broken links, you name it. Now, mixing these deterministic flows with AI steps is where things actually get pretty interesting, because instead of relying entirely on AI, this hybrid approach makes your workflows more predictable, more reliable, and often less expensive to run. Let's add a little bit more complexity, because maybe we don't want to migrate all content. Maybe we only want to migrate the posts that are actually relevant to Drupal users. So we can ask ChatGPT to analyze each post and then decide whether it's relevant. And if it's relevant, we will publish it to Drupal and log it in a Google Sheet. And if it's not relevant, we will set the status to needs review and log that too. And by the way, we have another flow that listens for changes in Google Sheets. So let me show you. When somebody marks an item as approved in Google Sheets, it automatically publishes that content to Drupal. Think about that. It gives us new ways to edit and review content at scale. You can create similar integrations with tools like Google Docs or Microsoft Word, ticketing systems, project management tools, etc. Active Pieces has almost 450 integrations. Okay, so here's where things get even more interesting. That needs review action actually triggers an ECA model inside of Drupal. So let me switch over to the admin section of my Drupal site for a second. What you're seeing here is that ECA model, and it actually has two tools or flows. The one at the top is called blog needs review, and it sets the state of a blog post to, you guessed it, needs review. Under the hood, it uses Drupal's content moderation and workflow modules. And when we switch back to Active Pieces, you can see that the ECA tool is exposed directly in Active Pieces. You can also see that all of Drupal's agents are available to Active Pieces, which is pretty cool, because now we can build very advanced ECA models that leverage Drupal's internal capabilities, and we can use our specialized AI agents and make them available to these external orchestration tools. And you can do some crazy stuff with that. Maybe even build landing pages from these tools. My example just scratches the surface. But the point here is that the concept of internal and external orchestration working together is very, very powerful. All right, yeah.
Well, then how do you debug it when something breaks? Where do you go? Do you go an external tool? Is it ECA?
It's
Is
a
it
slightly
Drupal?
more complex demo, but like if you look online, people are doing like things that are 10, 20, 30, 40 times more complex. And Jürgen and I, we actually work together on this integration, and we also work together on the demos, because we both believe actually that these platforms, can and should work together, and that together they can do some pretty interesting things. And so, yeah, I wanted to take a little minute, I guess, out of the keynote, precious time out of the keynote to talk about this, because I really do think it could change how we integrate Drupal in the marketing technology stack, and also how agencies might evolve their business. Because if you think about it, there's so many user experiences on the web that could be made better, that could be made smarter, and orchestration could be a great way to do that. And personally, I think it can not only change how we build digital experiences, but if I think about it, it could redefine the concept of a DXP. In my mind, this could be the kernel of a DXP 2.0 kind of platform, the combination. And again, as I said, could be an important toolbox important tool in the toolbox of digital agencies to build, manage, and operate these flows. And so, Jürgen and I, we would love for you to join us in this exploration. So consider this an invitation. And there's many different ways you can help. You can obviously test the newly launched orchestration module that we built. But
there's
you can
another
also
unified
integrate more
API.
and different of these external automation tools like N8N. You have Langflow, Flowwise, Gumloop. I mean, there's a long list of these tools that we could integrate with. Or you could help bring Jürgen's vision for a simpler, more powerful ECA inside of Drupal to life as well. And I think there's a lot of interesting concepts, and I don't have the time to get into it, but like even this notion of connecting inputs and outputs that quickly and easily is something that maybe we can bring into Drupal's architecture as well. And so if this idea proves valuable, if people are excited about exploring with us, we'll probably return at DrupalCon Chicago. And the next sort of, Japan is just a little bit too close, but in DrupalCon Chicago, we can basically share what we've learned.
This kind of reminds me of this little thing here.
So to wrap up, I will say that I'm
where it's like
so
14
excited
standards and 15 standards now.
Brave new world that is ahead of us and that is coming. And I would also say that I'm actually optimistic about the open web. And that might sound a little strange to you, but if I think about it, the current map of the web is actually taking us to places that aren't always nice. There's a lot of sloppy content online. There's a lot of organizations trying to play SEO tricks or rewarding clickbait or rage clicks. And honestly, how many people love all the advertising on the web? So call me naive if you want, but I do think that the future, this new map, could actually, hopefully, potentially, take us to a better place as well, where maybe we'll have higher quality content, fewer ads, better customer experiences, like faster answers, and maybe we even find ways to properly reward all of the creators on the web. Now, I also strongly believe that the world is still going to need good websites. Even as AI evolves, how people interact with the website is still where the trust and the ownership and the identity live. When you visit a website, you're not just consuming the text on a website or the content on a website. You're actually experiencing the brand. You can hear the voice of the website. You can hear and see the identity and the personality of that website. And you can feel its values. And I think that's really important. And I think that's not something that an AI agent or chatbot will replace that easily. And so a website, if you think about it, it's kind of the one digital space an organization or an individual can truly own, starting to end. It's kind of like the one place where you can fully express yourself in your own words, your own design, your own brand. And again, that's not something that an agent won't be able to replicate that easily. And so that's why agencies still matter, and probably more than ever, to be quite honest, because agencies are the ones that make that trust, that brand, and that identity real. They architect the systems, design the experiences, and make everything work together. And we're always going to need people who can translate sort of ambition into architecture or vision into codes. And we'll always need builders, builders who can turn ideas into systems. We'll always need people that take responsibility and accountability for outcomes and results. And that's what agencies do best. And that's why we need to care for agencies and help agencies be successful. And honestly, it's what keeps the web human, and it's what keeps the web reliable as well. And so here's the way I see it, I guess. I think of AI as a new channel. And AI will always rely on websites. And for that reason, websites will always exist. Agents learn from websites, they cite websites, they send people to websites. And so the website is and will remain the source of truth or the system of record. And so, when AI expands, it's actually expanding the need for what Drupal does best, which is content management and website management. And so that brings me to Drupal. AI isn't just changing what we built, it's actually changing who can build. And I think it's kind of a big difference because it's making Drupal easier and more accessible to millions more people than what we have today. You saw it earlier in our demos, AI generating full pages inside of Drupal Canvas. And so actually that perfectly aligns with our goals for Drupal CMS, which is to attract many more people to Drupal, organizations, creators, marketers, all the people. And I think that's why AI is the way through the story.
And cheaper hosting.
And in an interesting way, AI compensates for our weaknesses, like our technical UI and our steep learning curve, and actually it amplifies on top of that our strengths, like our structured content and versioning, permissions, all the things. And so if we succeed, and I think we will, that means more projects, more innovation, and more opportunity for all of us. So yes, I think the future is a little bit unclear, and we have a lot of uncharted territory ahead of us, but it's also not our first rodeo, so to speak. And I hope that you saw that we have an incredible head start, actually. Like, we have a lot of features that our competitors don't have. And along with that, I feel like we have a strong moral compass that will guide us along the way and do all of these things right. So, and let's not forget that I think we are drawing this new map. We're not just here to adapt to the change, to what is done to us. We're here to help shape what comes next. And so we need more navigators, we need more people, and there's many ways that you can help. Like, we need navigators to contribute to Drupal CMS, we need navigators to build site templates, we need navigators to port modules to Drupal Canvas, we need navigators to push the boundaries with Drupal AI, and we need navigators to help explore these orchestration concept and make sure that we're part of that as well. Now, navigating this new world will require the right tools and people. And fortunately, we have both in our community. So thank you, Vienna. Thank you for having me. So. Thank you. Before you go, the next is our group photo. And we're all gonna, if you want to, we're gonna go to the group photo, which there will be people outside guiding you, but it's essentially up, we have to go up a floor. I don't know exactly how you get there, but there will be people guiding you there. So I'll see you upstairs. Thank you.
Okay, so that's it. All right, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Drupal Canvas, all this stuff. Yeah, so I think, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this stuff goes. I think Drupal, there's a lot happening. I think there's a lot of stuff. It's interesting. He did a mention at the end. He was saying we need, we need builders. We need, what was it? Designers and things like that. But one thing that kind of annoys me with sometimes with the Drupal community is that there's not enough content creators. There's not enough, and I hate to say it, there's not enough influencers. We need people to be producing content about Drupal. And that's what I'm trying to do. Because there's no point in saying how great Drupal is. No one cares about the code. Like, I'm sorry, but when it comes to the thick of it, our job as developers is to solve problems. And it's not about just having the best code. Like, don't get me wrong, code's important, and I live in code all the time. But I've come to realize that if you build any type of technology, sales and marketing, and that's what content creation is all about, is sales and marketing. We need to market Drupal in a better way. And that's a thing that I find a bit annoying. It's just like always focusing too much on the tech. It's like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the tech's amazing and he looks amazing, and I'm going to implement a lot of this stuff, but we just need more people actually talking about this. And none of this, agency stuff that, puts out those fluff pieces about a white paper on how they saved some organization 10% of bottom line. No, how do you build this stuff? How do you make this? How do you build this? How do you build that? I want to build this. And that's what I'm trying to do. Just trying to build things in Drupal. Okay. How do you build a social media site using just Drupal? What tools do you have out there? I don't know. So that's kind of my thing. Well, thanks everyone for joining. This was a bit, I was hoping I'd do a bit more chatting, but I feel like my chatting was probably annoying a few people too much. So I don't know. This was fun. I'm surprised. I'm wondering if if I was even allowed to do this, stream it. I don't know. I came up with the idea about this watch-along because I know like a bunch of sports places do it. So like when I watch Formula One and things like that, there's always watch-alongs. And I thought, you know what? I'll do the same thing for this because this is what it's all about, just getting people on the chat. And yeah, we had a lovely chat, lovely rants. But, there's no point of going just now. What I want to try and do, and I was trying to get this working, that is this Canvas demo. Let's give this a go. You know what? Let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I need to count so it's nice and zoomed in. All right, let's just give this a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this working. So here, it's going to go in there. And hopefully, I'm going to be able to... Oh, no, don't be sorry. No, don't worry about the spamming chat. That's the whole point of this. I don't mind it. I love it when people chat. It's awesome. All right, let's have a quick look. XB. So then, what else do we need to do? So I'm just going to play around with this, and this is the first time I'm playing around with it. And so, where was that? I probably need to run that. Let's go back here. All right. So is this all in? It's all done, yeah. Vendor. All right, cool. ddev start. All right, that's that. Now this is Drupal 11. Drush is Drush here. Drush. Okay, it is there. All right, cool. And just another thing, where was that Mercury? This was the other thing they were talking about as well. This looks very interesting, I must admit. So this was the Mercury theme. So I need to, I mean, there's a lot of stuff here to get through. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to digest, honestly. I'm so pessimistic. Where is it? Can I show that? Oh, nice. I didn't know I can do that. I can actually show chats. Cool. Sorry. No. I think when it comes to pessimism, the older you get, the more pessimistic you are, honestly. I don't know. I go through moments of like, awesome, I love doing the videos in Drupal. I love, doing the live streams because that takes a lot of time. Then I sometimes wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning thinking to myself, have I just wasted the last 10 years of my life just focusing on Drupal? Seriously, like that's the ups and downs. But then I watch this stuff and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. It's awesome. It's this stuff's great. Yeah, just ups and downs. And then mix it in with, the whole AI stuff. What's happening with that? No one seems to know what's happening with it. One day, a year ago, what is it? The CEO of Anthropic that runs Claude, even a year ago, said within 6 months, you're not going to have a job. Well, that was 6 months ago. We still have a job. Well, and, the whole Drupal, jobs market is up and down as well. And it's just, yeah. But I'm hopeful. Let's give this a go. So I've done this. Where's this stuff? And so then that's all set up. And all I need to do now is, where's this README? So done that. Let's do site install. Is that it? All right. Let's see if Drush is actually working. Is this all working? Cool. ddev, Drush, SI. All right. That's going to install. Awesome. Oh, true. That's good to know. That's good to know. No, because the thing is though, I've lived long enough now to see technology come and go, and so many times I've seen technology come, and I'm like, that's interesting. Maybe I should write a blog post or do a bunch of videos on that. Then I just forget about it. And then 2 years later, I see similar people that have been talking about that same technology and have just like blown up. And I think to myself, why did I let that pass? It's kind of like you get these opportunities that you just kind of miss. Yeah, no. And you see that the older you get. Anyway. So what's this? All right, cool. So we've done that. User login canvas. All right, let's test this out. Let's talk about more hopeful. What are some things that make you hopeful about creator careers? Oh, what makes me hopeful about creator careers? Honestly, I don't know if there's. What I'm hopeful about being a creator is it's easier to create content. Okay. But then at the same time, it's easier for so much slop AI crappy content to go out as well. I feel like I'm more productive right now, but at the same time, it's also allowing a lot of people to put out crap content. Yeah, hindsight's 2020. Yep. Yep, that's it. That is it. All right. Now let's see this. Is this going to actually work? Ooh, hello. Let's pop back in here. Please work. Ooh. All right. Okay. I'll take this back. This stuff's pretty cool. All right. So this is, now I also want to preface this by saying this is just a demo. I remember I demoed one of these things off during the Drupal Starshot initiative. And I demoed one of these repos and I got kind of in trouble for promoting the fact as if it's an official thing, but it's not. So this isn't an official thing as far as I'm aware. Because last time I got a few people pinging me saying, this isn't official, you shouldn't be mentioning this. Again, this whole concept of, jumping on the internet and telling somebody they shouldn't promote Drupal, which is a bit weird. But anyway, we need more influencers. Well, that's true, yes. When you write code, you are a content creator, true, but you can spend time, but then you need to promote. When I say content creator, I mean like people that just actually promote things. We need to promote Drupal. We can have the best code in the world, and it shows. Drupal has some of the best code in the world. I run 2 WordPress sites personally. The code isn't the greatest, but it does the job. But still, WordPress is massive because of its ecosystem, and I think it's just better at promoting itself. But then what is Drupal? Drupal does everything, whereas WordPress started off as a blogging platform. All right, let's have a play with this. I'll get these headphones off because they're annoying. All right, cool. This stuff is, now this is the first time I'm actually playing with this, okay? And I have to admit, layers. See, I feel like every open source platform has pretty much re-implemented the same thing, a page builder. Now the question is, can I write content in here? Is this like Gutenberg? Because I write a lot in Gutenberg. And Gutenberg is okay. At the end of the day, writing on, I always find it a bit hilarious how people complain about Gutenberg in general. It's like writing online sucks. It's not the best, no matter what platform you use. So it's kind of like, I was going to use another word, but I want to keep this PG. You just have to deal with your own something sandwich when it comes to writing content online. All right, let me put this in the chat so people can see this. No, I put there. Yeah, I'm referring to the careers of creators. I agree. We need to put more resources. Well, there's always going to be a job for like creators. I think people need to create more. There you go. No, okay. This is one thing I've ranted about, and this is now going just outside. Okay. I feel like a lot of people, especially, I don't want to say my generation, I'm in my early 40s and things like that, but I feel like a lot of people nowadays can exist and live a life and just make enough money to exist and to just consume. And what I mean by that is you can easily spend your life working, coming home, watching Netflix, watching TikTok, scrolling through Instagram. You're just consuming, and that's it. And I also feel like the reason why a lot of people are depressed or unhappy with their lives is because they don't create. And I think it's important that you need to stop the consumption cycle. Like with me personally, I've really this last week tried hard to not go on YouTube. But I have a YouTube channel. How does that work? Well, what I do is I just log in with my WebWash account, and then I use, Unhook. I use this extension called Unhook, which just hides everything from YouTube. So you don't see the sidebar, you don't see the explore button, explore page, you don't see anything. And that has really helped me focus, where I want to sit down and just create, and that's it. And nowadays, as developers, we can create anything. especially with like AI. And I do understand that, yes, AI is doing the work, but you still need to think of things. You still need to plan things out. I can't just go to Claude and say, build me something. Well, some people try to. But I feel like if people are kind of in a funk in their lives and all that, and are really stuck somewhere, do something, create, make a project, build something. Like me personally, I canceled all of my subscriptions other than Spotify, which I have for music. And the only thing I watch nowadays is a bit of sports, and that's motor racing, like Formula One. That's it. It's the only thing I do. Other than that, I wake up and I just, well, I've got kids and a family, so they kind of keep me busy. But I've just realized, especially getting older, I'm in my early 40s. Half my life's gone. So it's like, if I'm going to do something, it better be now. And the industry, especially our industry, the web industry, is at a turning point. It really is. Like, yes, you kind of see influxes of like, when the internet came up, then that was a big thing. Then when the web 2.0 happened, again, another big shift. Then mobile, that was another shift. Some people might say crypto. I would say crypto if I invested more in crypto. But I don't think crypto changed my life as much as, say, AI has or mobile has. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry for ranting. This is what happens when I'm on a stream and I can't talk and people are like saying, Ivan, mute yourself. Hey, F1 rules. Yeah, I could watch a lot more motor racing, but I just don't have the time for it. I literally don't have the time. Yeah, it's just, yeah. F1 has its races. Some are good, some are bad. I don't know. All right. Let me have a sip first. I could do with the coffee right now. Anyway. Well, yeah, bring the robots out so they can clean my house. That's what I want. And put the washing. Put the washing out. Do all that. Clean up the kid's bedroom. That's what I want. All right, so let's get back to this. Here we have Canvas demo. This is the this is the test one. Now, again, this is the unofficial one. I'm not saying this is the official one. This is me just installing it and playing around with it. So you got your components. Let's add a new page. So where do you add these pages? So wait a minute. Does this replace then? No, we have standard Drupal. So, all right. Test page. Watching a race can take an hour or more. Well, I also, being from Australia, I used to watch, I'm no longer living in Australia now, but I used to watch V8 Supercars. And just on the weekend, there was the Bathurst 1000. And I got the last 60 laps of it. And it's 161 laps. That was like 2-3 hours, but that goes for like 7 hours. That's like an enduro. It was one of the best races, by the way. You can actually watch it on the internet. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that means. Wait a minute. Oh, man, I need a better editor. Where's my editor of choice? Sorry. As much as I love VS Code, don't get me wrong. I love VS Code and I use it, but I need a proper editor. And what I mean by that is PHP Storm. Some people are going to get offended. VS Code is a proper editor. Yeah, it's an editor, but it's not an IDE. All right. Whoop. Where is it? Come on. Here we go. All right, now watch my CPU absolutely get totally ripped to shreds. There we go. All right. Okay, so contrib gin design system. Demo design system. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Oh, yeah. 24-hour Nürburgring. Or like, yeah, what is it? The Le Mans 24-hour. All right. So we've got this. So if I go, so where was this page? Canvas editor. How do I access this page? So wait a minute. So what is this page then? Edit. Oh no, these aren't nodes. What? All right, let's have a look here. Huh, interesting. Okay. I really need to get my head around this. Yeah. Okay. So there's a question here: does JetBrains give out licenses for Drupal contributors? I think it gives out licenses to open source contributors. This is very interesting. Okay. So then, source. There must be an entity type then here. Canvas components. Oh, there is a lot here. Page template. All right. Canvas dev mode. Yeah, I mean that's this is pretty much just a hook. This implements a hook, use private API, but that's pretty much it. This is very interesting. Okay, so they're full on separate pages. Now, if I come along in here, new page. Hello. Oh, so I'm really confused. So are we now just forgetting like content types now? Fair enough. All right. Okay. Layers, manage. Okay, let me add in patterns. All right, patterns, that's like a Gutenberg thing. That's okay. So organism. Oh, these. I never know where it's like molecule. I'm sorry, but molecules, organisms, atoms, I never know the order of them. I'm sorry. Oh my. Okay. All right, cool. So let's put in a image. All right, add an image. Let me put in, interesting, interesting, next is there, okay. All right, let me put in, oh, there's more. All right, okay. Now, can I resize this panel data? Title, yeah, I mean, page title, it's not bad, actually. Can I resize this? Image settings. So, okay, all right, fair enough. Container, does a container need, do columns need a container? One column. Column 1, column 2. Okay. This doesn't look, this actually looks pretty good. And I can chuck that in, I can chuck that in, and I can chuck that in. Now, if I go right click, can I duplicate? Awesome. Okay. All right. Now, what's the actual feel? Because sometimes you kind of fight against them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's it. I stopped using, atoms, or like organisms, molecules, because you need to understand, because see, to me, that assumes you understand the order of it. I'm sorry, I wasn't good at science. Biology, sorry. So you click on that. Do you click on that? All right, now I want to, okay, let's say I want to now outline and highlight everything. Basic page. A Drupal logo, header panel. What's this? All right, now if I go, all right, okay, wait, let's go here. Can I just go delete? Can I select all and delete? Delete. Oh, okay, oh, that's pretty cool. Page and go there. All right, Okay, I'll give that. Okay. Paragraphs. Right. More importantly, let me grab it. Let me go to my site. Because this is something like, eventually I will move this site over back to Drupal maybe. All right, if I can just grab all of this, can I just copy and paste? That's an important question. That's what people will do. That's what I'll do as an editor. Where does it come along in here? Okay, maybe not. Can I move a, wait a minute, what the hell? What did I do? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Place content in here. Let me just refresh that. Add. Oh, okay, here we go. Have the little handle, place content in there. Now, can I just paste? No, I can't. Okay. Can I just paste in there? Okay, I can. I can't do that. What about inline image? Okay. And then put in a header. Oh. Margin, bottom. Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. Top, bottom. Got that. Status cards. Let's pop that in. Okay. Pop that, close that. All right. Now, if I put in a header section, heading, image. So wait a minute. Let's go back to here. I want to see what this stuff is. Content, container, content, flexible. So what's in this though? Oh, hero. Okay, so that's a hero. Okay, we have a hero. Then another, okay, button. But this really depends on your design system. Okay. All right. Page details, hello. All right, so now if I go here, no, I want to go incognito. What does this look like? And then what does this actually render out like? Okay. Edit. Let's put in a container. Another container. Columns. Put in a 3-column. What is it here? Header panel. What's a header panel? Nothing there. All right, header. Let's make that an H. I don't know, 3. H4. Header styling. Oh no. Oh, wait a minute. So what's this level then? That's fine. Okay, let's change this to an H3, H2. All right, and I'll put in a paragraph. All right, yeah, that's fine. Awesome. Now, can I select both? All right, duplicate. Okay. Header, duplicate. Pop that there. Duplicate again. Pop that there. All right. Okay. Now, can I center this? I can. Align, center. Now, can I copy the style? No, pretty much just duplicates it. That's fine. Copy. All right, cool. So I've done that. Can I add a background color? Padding on sides. These are pretty specific. Oh, there we go. Top and bottom. Act as heading. Act as header. Anyway. All right. That's interesting. Okay. And then social media. Web form. Cool. All right, let's do review changes. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. So where was that? You can modify the back. There wasn't this, right? Canvas. For granting personalization, Vite provides personalization. But where was that content template that I saw? Templates. Edit fields. Hey. Hello, hello. All right, so add new template. All right, okay, let's see this. Let's see this. I'm totally curious. All right, so if I come along in here and I create a blog, all right, just keep this simple, okay? Yep. Create text formatted long body, and I'll create reusable. Well, how far are they with the page builder? Well, that's what I'm testing out now. I've just installed it, so just having to play around with it. I have no idea. Featured image. Let's chuck a featured image in there. Reuse content and okay. All right. So this stuff is all right. That's fine. I'll chuck that. Okay. Now come along in here. Blog. Test blog. Let's chuck in Drupal CMS. Drupal WordPress. I don't know. I feel like this backend does look pretty good. A few times, like I know that Dries in his Driesnotes just mentioned that sometimes he's surprised that it's Drupal. When I'm using Drupal, especially in the backend, especially this Tagify, this stuff's pretty cool. I know I'm not the right person to be like touting how awesome Drupal is. All right. Okay, so that's that. Now, if we come to here, okay, add new template. No, I don't want that one. Oh, there we go. All right. So now I've essentially modified. So this is, again, now everything we have learned in the last 20 years, or in my case, 19 years and 1 day or something, that's how long my Drupal account has been alive for, has changed. Which is fine. I'm ready for change. All right, so now we've modified this, and what if I But now I should be able to put a field in, right? Featured. So where are the field values? Okay, so look here. Is there a field? There's no component for fields. Wait, maybe I'll chuck this in and then I can... All right, flexible slot. Contributors, molecules, links. All right, I'm lost now. So there must be some extra... Huh. All right. If in doubt, use Claude Code. All right. Oh, he's mine. Give me one moment. I'll bring up my voice too. All right. In at, what is it? Canvas. Okay, yep. How do I add a field to a content template? Can you review the code and show me if I need to install some extra modules to add a field to a content template using Canvas? All right, let's see. And let's see what it's going to find. Now I'm going to blow through my tokens, aren't I? But that's actually something that I've started to do a lot, is using AI to kind of give me a rundown of what the module does. It's a good way. Shape matching into, wait, shape matching. Where's that docs? Related canvas. Wait, the rest of that will be written using as canvas. All right, yep. Here we go. Existing term, yeah. Computed field prop. Oh, that's not it. Come on. Well, that's it. Yeah, they're all elements. All right, based on the review, Canvas uses dynamic props to connect Drupal fields. Okay, yep. This is different to the static props. How it works. Automatically detects, and there's two ways. In the content templates, in the Canvas UI, in the Canvas UI, when editing content, add a template. For the component, you will choose static or dynamic mapping. Right. Do I need to install any other modules? By the way, you do have access to ddev drush, and just run ddev drush. What is it? Oh, what is it? PM list or something? Come on, Claudie. There we go. Oh yeah, don't ask me again. All right, so let's go back here. what I have a feeling is, let's just clear the cache. I didn't even, why didn't I think about that? Silly Ivan. You know you should just clear the cache all the time. Performance, clear cache. So it's dynamic and static. Let's come back in here. All right, so we've got that. Add a component. Ooh, what's, wait. Where did this come from? Where did this code come from? I didn't see this earlier. Ooh, hello. So this is the good old contemplate. If anyone remembers that, Drupal template. What's content? No, not. Is it these? No. Wait, what's this? This is something different. Provides an intuitive way. I have no idea what this is. Anyway, I'll come back to that. No, contemplate. Drupal. Used to be a module, old school module called contemplate. Oh, I guess not. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is it. This is where you could put PHP code in Drupal. Those were the days. And now we're just putting a JSX into Drupal. You know what's going to happen. Mark my word. It is the 14th of October, 2025. Drupal will be rewritten and it'll be written in TypeScript. Because you think about this. Now, let me explain. Oh. Let me explain. So, I think this was brought up in the chat as well. Okay, that this is all great, and they're trying to get more front enders in. And hey, by all means, man, if you want to get front enders in, give them the ability to write JSX components, React components in Drupal's backend, and you're fine. You're there. Now we're going to get so used to doing all this stuff in the backend here through JavaScript. And then what? And then I guarantee it, there's going to be an issue. Somebody's going to create and say, by the way, why are we writing everything in PHP? Let's just write everything in TypeScript. I'm not fast, honestly. I am not fast. I am not fast at all. I think this is interesting. I was gonna post a video today saying that you're a web developer these days, because in my case, I was going to post this video, and I was just framing it in a way that you're a web developer in 2025 when you write about Drupal on a WordPress blog. Now that's an inside joke. People need to understand that. Where you're writing about Drupal on a WordPress site and you're using AI to write and build you React/TypeScript applications, which I was doing late last night and today. And you're using AI to do that. And it's like, see, this is where one part is like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I was able to build this awesome video clipper using WebAssembly, FFmpeg. Now, I didn't write it, but I guided the AI to write it. And it's all in TypeScript and React, like just a basic React application. No Next.js or anything, just TypeScript. The dependencies is pretty much zero, just other than React and all that type of stuff. But it works. And you can do all of that. Yes. All right. I think I need to do a longer video. I need to do a proper live stream on this stuff. But I just want this first version to be released. RC. But this is, yeah, I mean, this is interesting. All right, let's get back here. So if I put in a component, but what do I now make these? Wait, can you see this? I hope I'm not covering it. No, I'm not. So data fetch. Oh, well, see, there you go. Straight away, you need to know JavaScript. Now, slots, footer. So, okay, slots and props. This is single directory components, SDC. I understand that. But then I want to pass in. So what happens? Wait a minute. You import component. What does this do? All right. Okay, let's go back here. Let's try this again. So if I put in a paragraph, oh, hello. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Hang on. No, that's not it. Back in the day, it was Notepad. Well, for me, Notepad++. Absolutely. All right, let's go back here. All right, so what was this again? Yeah, I see no dynamic data as well. So what is this? In a Canvas UI, when editing. All right, forget it. Oh no, forget it. Can you tell me where the code in the module, it says dynamic, so I can navigate to the code and have a look at it. So don't just show it to me. Can you actually give me a link to the code where it says dynamic field mapping? Because all I want to do is I want to put a component in there, but I want the data to come in from a custom field. All right, let's see. So where is this? Let's search this. Dynamic reference. No. Damn. Okay. Entity. Field. Oh, here we go. This is inputs. Allow adapters. What? No, that's not it. Prop source. Here we go. That's what I want. Is that it? I have no idea. Dynamic. Okay. All right. Okay. Yes. Prop source. There is a. What is this? Is this a prop source base? So this is a different. Okay. All right. Prop source dynamic. Get source type. So something needs to be dynamic in front. Field for component suggester. Matcher, AI. Oh no, what is it? No, API. Start with. Yeah. Oh, I can't click into it. Oh, that sucks. No. I had that. Dynamic prop source. Yeah, that doesn't really explain anything. Then I want. Thank you very much. But I cannot see in the Canvas UI where I can select the dynamic prop. Can you review the code again and tell me where in the UI I should be able to select a field? So I've created a content type called blog, and I've created a content template, and I want to now select which field gets passed to that component. All right, let's give this a moment. That's how. Oh, that's how WordPress. Yeah, that's how it works in WordPress. Trust me, sometimes with WordPress, I do appreciate that it just gives you an array, and you can explode the array. Speaking of exploding, no, I think this week's live stream is going to be about debugging variables and what is it? Debugging and creating like fancy error message pages. Not the funnest, but hey, it's important. It's important because I really need to get my head around. Oh, okay. You'll need to either wait for the UI to be built, track it. Well, thank you for that. That's hilarious. Create a content config entity programmatically using code. Use page region instead, which do have a working page region. What the hell was that? We're currently only using page region. All right. What's page region now? Pages. Oh, is it just page that's working? Oh, wait. Oh, I think I sorted it out. All right. Wait a moment. Heading. Hey, stop. Come along in here. Title. Page title. Okay. All right. Now, if I put in image, this should be the feature. I still can't see feature image. Where there? Can't select. Let me select something. Is that going to work? No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's get rid of that. Then this will be description. I assume is the description field. Is there a description field on there is a description field. Okay, so why isn't content appearing? Okay, that's fine. Let's deal with that. Then, wait, what other fields do we have here? Basic page and tags. All right, cool. So now if I chuck in tags, what am I going to put for tags? Oh, the reason why I couldn't see the other one is because I was clicking here. Oh, that's why. See that? The reason why I didn't see code is because you need to click on here. No, it's not all static. It's not all static. So if you guys want to have a play with it, this is the actual demo of it. Now let me just chuck it in here. You know. So you can play around with it there. All right. Okay. All right, let's do this. All right, we're getting there. Actually, while you're here, all right. Oh, wait, where is it? All right, cool. Thanks, mate. Can you show me all of the components? Where are the components stored in the Canvas modules? Now, I'm looking for are there React components? If I want to modify a component, can you show me the exact code where it is? What's my usage like? Oh, it's crapped itself. What's happening? Ah, yes. All right, let's leave that for now. All right, so description. This is actually, I can add a modify class. Oh, so how can I? So is this all React here on the on this end? Where's my components? Yeah, this is all. So these are all. So this is okay. Yeah, I knew that this is all React. And then I can change the props and stuff like that. That's fine. All right, so they're doing a lot here. There's a lot. I can see the complexity in it. I can absolutely see the complexity in it. But then how do I pass values? So can I pass values in through here? All right, let's create a new component. I don't know, call to action, CTA. Oh, not cat. Oh, whatever, cat. Okay, cool. Yeah, okay. I actually like this. Now, why can't I see will be moved? So what is this? So can I see that? Why can't I see the cat variable here? No. Okay, so no. Oh, okay. Need to refresh. All right, that's fine. All right, so I can see cat there. Now a prop. So wait a minute. Oh, props and slots. What's what? Props and slots. What is what? So a slot, I think, allows render arrays through. A prop is just a arbitrary value that gets passed in, I think. I do apologize because I do know that the UI suite guys will be absolutely terrible, will be annoyed with me for not getting that wrong, because their whole thing is about the single directory components. All right, so if I type in prop name test text, so then how do I pass that through? Wait a minute. So is it just props? Project card, title, footer. So that's a footer. All right, so slot name should be. Oh, okay. So title. Okay, so that should be just that, right? All right, so that's just passed in as a variable. So then test. I'm kind of used to writing tweak code, but no, it's JSX code. Oh, man. Oh, my. Yes. Oh, so that's compiling the browser. That's pretty cool. Why isn't it? Quiet. All right, put that in there, and then what that would be AIU. Well, yeah, you can build your just that comment about building your own components. You can build your own components. Absolutely, you can. But I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the component pop up. Okay. Test is not defined. How aren't you defined, mate? I'm telling you. Blob. Rename. All right, let's see progress. Oh, nice. Right down here at the bottom. It's got a little search thingy. So progress bar dot display name. That's wait, what is this? Progress. So you create your own. Then you create your own const there. Return. This saves a lot of time spending in a code editor. Well, technically, instead of spending it in a code editor, you're spending it in this code editor. No matter what, you're writing code. Just depends where you're writing that code, really. This is interesting. I do, to be fair, with JSX and the whole concept of it, I do like the fact that it is a standard and that people have just stuck with it. Because once you understand JSX, you can understand you can build out a lot of things, and it is versatile. I know me personally, like I've been playing around a lot with Laravel, and you have different starter kits, like a Vue starter kit and a React starter kit, and I chose React purely because it's more opportunity. All right, yeah. You mentioned about the uppercase. Yeah, I mean, but everything. So if I type in, what is it, test here, test, hello, there we go. No, what was that? Throw this. But for some reason, I can't see. Let me just, wait, do I save that? Oh, no. All right, cool. So that's there. And then it goes. So test is undefined. All right, so it's complaining about that, but prop name, I don't know. There's got to be some extra stuff here that I'm just not seeing. So progress. So here, if we take a look at here, progress. So progress. What is this cart? So this cart, this is just that's just a const getting passed in with this being returned, right? Then you do card array badge. So this CVA, what's this? Class variance authority. Where's this coming from? All right, there's a lot here I need to learn. It's interesting though. And then you do export there. And see now this appears here. Oh, okay. So you're saying it returns that this is somewhere in the back end. Oh no, that's just an example. So if why did that disappear now? All right. This is interesting, very interesting. And is this is all Tailwind, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's all that. All right, well, let's just finish up. Let's just finish up on this. Yeah, I'm not really getting anywhere at this point. Just need to kind of get my head around it. What's this import? Progress. Yeah. What? Where is this? Let's go back here. Oh, that's right. I want to find all this stuff. All right. I didn't say token usage summary. All right. Let's have a quick look. Where'd you start? All the way to the top. All right, we're at components. So everything's in components. Library template lists. All right, so everything's in components. Oh, Canvas UI, contrib. Oh, okay. All right, so this is the actual JS side of it. All right, let's just zoom this out a little bit. Okay. Panel form. Templates. Yeah, I mean, this is all just good old-fashioned React. And if we come down here, using Vite, that's good. And Tailwind in browser. Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's just finish up there. There's a bit of a play with it. Again, if you want to install, well, let me just test this out quickly. So I've added that in, publish those changes. And now if I go to content, test page, is that really, that is, eh? My test page, yeah, it's coming through. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. All right, let's just leave it there. That was all about just, yeah, mucking around with this stuff. All right, so there's a lot to unpack here at Driesnote. This Drupal Canvas stuff is very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. I need to play around with it a bit more to kind of get my head around it. Because it does look like it's going to change a lot of things. It will. All right, well, let's just leave it there. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you all. Well, I've got Friday's stream. What am I doing on Friday's stream? Oh, I don't know. I know, I mentioned it. Displaying log messages and error handling and things like that. As I said, it's not the most amazing and glamorous bit of work, but it's something that people always contact me. They're always like, I installed this in Drupal and I get an error. And it's like, what error are you getting? I'm getting and then it's the white screen of death. And it's like, well, you need to turn on error handling. How do I do that? Well, then I can send them off to the to the video. Yeah, thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Thank you. And it was funny. I mentioned this when I saw that orchestration. When I saw that when Dries mentioned about the orchestration module that then integrates ECA with all these other ones. And I feel like it's another API, another unified API. Drupal's all about APIs, but I'm having fun here. It's important. It's important. Situation. There are 14 competing standards. Ridiculous. We need to develop one universal standard that covers everyone. Use cases. Yeah. Situation. There are 15 competing standards. Now, I do think the future of Drupal when it comes to these type of things, yeah, it is going to be integration with other systems. But what type of integration? I don't know. But even today, I was thinking when I was going for a walk and I was doing my daily exercise, the whole concept of like the MCP server, we could be in a situation in a good situation where migration happens through an MCP server. Think about that. You can easily set up right now, exactly, good old SKCD. You can easily migrate and move content into a WordPress site using the MCP server. So could you use AI to then migrate, say, between Drupal and WordPress? And this is where I think AI is really going to help Drupal and also will either help or disincentivize it. I don't know, but it's going to be easier to move content around, I think, with MCP servers. I hope. Because that's my thing about, you use all these SaaS applications and everything's all kind of locked in. Well, that's it. It's a very good analogy. So I'll just leave it with that, standards. So I hope everyone's excited. It means all of my videos are going to have to be redone, all my live streams, but that's all right. Gives me ideas. I'm actually holding off doing updating a bunch of live streams purely because things are changing. Things are changing. Anyway, well, that's it from me. Thank you so much for joining. If you want to check out other live streams that I've got, head over to webwash.net or the YouTube channel. Enjoy, have fun, and I'll catch you all. I've got, Wednesday? Today's Tuesday. Then Friday, I've got another live stream on, so it's going to be fun. Anyway, cheers, thank you, and I'll catch you all next time.